Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. This is Hudson County View, live and uncut. I am your host, the reflection of perfection, your number one selection, John Heinis. You may have heard there were some elections happening up north this past Tuesday, just 2 days ago. Needless to tell you at this point, North Bergen Mayor Nick Sacco was elected to his 8th term. He scored about 69% of the vote. That was 8,768 votes for him and 4,026 votes for challenger Larry Weinstein. A definitive win for sure for Sacco, improving by about 4.5 or so percentage points from the 2015 elections, where it was the same two competitors, if you will. Sacco again beating Weinstein at the polls. In West New York, in a much more shocking turn of events, the New Beginnings West New York slate, headed by Gabriel Rodriguez, the current public safety commissioner, bested Mayor Felix Roque and his Forward with Roque team, pulling off a clean sweep, meaning that it'll be 2 new commissioners in office, Victor Barrera and Yolisi Yanez, after Tuesday's reorganization meeting. Rodriguez scored 3,602 votes at the polls to 2,717 for Roque. Roque missed the commissioner's seat by 656 votes, and that's according to tallies from the Hudson County Clerk's office. So we will see if there will truly be new beginnings in West New York starting next week. In other news, over in the South, the Jersey City Board of Education, in a marathon meeting that went for over 6 hours, approved a new $638 million budget that initially had 415 layoffs predicted, but a new plan may allow them to save hundreds of those jobs. We're going to sit down with Board of Education President Sudhan Thomas today to hear a little more about that plan and the genesis of this budget, what's going on with school funding, the lawsuit against the state, and much more. So another thing on breaking news, also in the South, Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala has announced that he'll be running council candidates against 5 of the 6 members of the Hoboken City Council on November 5th. So those municipal elections obviously a ways off, but the mayor appears to be getting ahead of it, and he made that announcement just about 2 hours before this show. So we're going to go to a commercial, and then we're going to hopefully sit down with Sudhan. If not, we will talk about West New York. Just give us a couple moments here.
It takes more than a state-of-the-art medical facility to make a great hospital. It takes a team of dedicated medical professionals. That's the Jersey City Medical Center, Hudson County's #1 hospital. Medical teams consisting of New Jersey's top doctors, Magnet Award-winning nurses, and accomplished hospital associates, all committed to your good health. That's what you have at the Jersey City Medical Center. Make Hudson County's #1 hospital your first choice. Visit us on the web at barnabashealth.org. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
All right, we're back. Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis. So, let's go over West New York a little bit. Sudhan appears to be running late, so that's okay. We will talk about what happened there. So, like I just said to you, Roque finished in 6th place, and it looked like a highly competitive bout throughout. This is a campaign that started in early February and just looked like a complete and total melee all the way through. There was a lot of drama, and this was a lot of mudslinging, and look, it looked like a North Hudson election, long story short. But, some of the stuff we heard, Mayor Roque claimed that there was electioneering going on at the Board of Education, some non-tenured employees allegedly being forced to campaign for the Rodriguez slate. That proved to be up in the air, at least. I mean, we haven't heard anything from the Attorney General's office. It doesn't look like they've acted upon it. But, there was many other interesting allegations. Obviously, Commissioner Rodriguez talked a lot about Roque's associates, if you will, some of his campaign workers, people at Town Hall that had prior convictions that were helping with this campaign. It's unclear how much of a role that played at the polls, but what is clear is the Get Out the Vote campaign of the New Beginnings West New York team was quite strong. While they were clearly outnumbered in the streets, they obviously, from what I saw on Bergen Line, John F. Kennedy, other main thoroughfares, it looked like they really had things down to a science, especially between the 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. rush hour. Obviously, the final couple hours at the polls, it looked like they did a really great job of getting the vote out. What's interesting, and I mean, really, this whole race was just fascinating, if you ask me. But what's interesting is that Mayor Roque is contesting the results. He says he's mulling an official challenge. He's made these bold allegations that there were some sort of shenanigans. He hasn't gotten into the particulars, so we'll see what the next few days, few weeks holds. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the Cuban Day Parade or even at next week's reorg. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but he's again got on the record and said that he feels like this was disproportionate with his polling data, and he thinks that something is amiss. So we'll see if he follows up on that. He left the door open to ride off into the sunset. He talked about his 3-year-old son and how he plans on doing some other international endeavors. He does a bunch of charitable work that you guys have heard about before in Venezuela and other Latin countries. So with that said, we certainly have to give our due to Commissioner Rodriguez of the New Beginning slate that was backed by Congressman Albio Series. We actually had the pleasure of speaking with Gabriel just a few moments after the victory was announced, maybe about 30 minutes after, right in front of Town Hall. So let's take a look at that clip.
So here we are with Commissioner Gabriel Rodriguez, soon to be mayor of West New York.
God willing, that's right.
So, Gabe, obviously it was a hard-fought campaign, pretty brutal, not uncommon in North Hudson, but what were you thinking when we were getting down to crunch time here today?
Listen, I was just hoping that the rain would let up a little bit, and more importantly, that the people would come out, the West New York residents would show support to Column A, and that's exactly what happened today. The residents saw that this community needed a change, and that's what's delivered today, a victory and a change to come.
Was there anything about this campaign that surprised you at all?
No, not really. We knew that they would be very negative, but, you know, we remained positive, and the good guys won today.
And finally, just when you're looking at those final vote tallies pile in, obviously it started to look pretty definitive pretty early. And was that surprising? Did you expect it to be a little tighter?
I will be honest, I did not see the numbers until very late in the evening. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the vote totals, but it wasn't until very late in the night that I knew that the margin was large enough for us to win.
And finally, Commissioner, so just tell us, when you are sworn in as mayor at the reorg meeting next week, what can some of the residents in West New York look forward to? Availability to the commissioners, availability to us, and availability to a new beginning for West New York, because West New York deserves it. Gabe, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, John. Thank you, West New York. Thank you, West New York!
Newport, a luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
The Jersey City Medical Center. You know it for its award-winning, life-saving ambulance service. It's also your health hub, with health and wellness locations staffed with certified professionals all through Hudson County. The Jersey City Medical Center, here to help you with your healthy, here when you need us the most. The Jersey City Medical Center. Visit us on the net to learn more. Jersey City Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health Facility. Let's be healthy together.
Hello again, Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis, thanks for coming back. So, as you guys know, it wasn't just West New York that put out a show on Tuesday. We also saw the North Bergen elections, as I mentioned earlier, and, you know, to the surprise of very few, if any, North Bergen Mayor Sacco was elected to an 8th term. This wasn't a particularly close race, but it was heavily anticipated due to the fact that he took on Weinstein 4 years ago, and Weinstein shocked a lot of people by getting 35% of the vote. This time around, he came up a little shorter. He got about 31%, and he got roughly 1,000 less votes than he did back in 2015. While Mayor Sacco, like I mentioned earlier, got about 69% of the vote, and he actually came away with about a plus of 500 votes from 2015. So, you know, they're heading in opposite directions, but we'll see what the future holds in North Bergen. I mean, obviously, You guys know Mayor Sacco has been in office longer than I've been alive, so, at some point he's going to have to hang it up, but I feel like he has at least 4 more years, clearly, judged by the voters. The will of the people have spoken. But it's going to be interesting up north. I mean, it always is, and I think it always will be. This race largely centered around this North Bergen Liberty Generating Project. Larry Weinstein said that this was going to bring serious health concerns, and this could actually lead to a loss of life for future generations of North Bergenites. And Mayor Sacco, as you guys may have seen a few weeks ago when we sat down, he said that was all basically made up nonsense, to put it simply, and he said that this was something that is going to go through the State Department of Environmental Protection, and whatever Trenton decides to do, they're going to decide to do. He is hopeful about the project because it would bring $5 million in tax rateables annually to the township of North Bergen, but whether or not this thing gets off the ground is probably still a ways off. This is not going to be decided probably for at least a year, but they do have to get the shovels in the ground before 2023. That would be the next election cycle as well, coincidentally. So as a result of all this, Larry Weinstein has a pending lawsuit against Phil Murphy and Sacco. And Mayor Sacco, mostly just said, look at the track record, look at the infrastructure, look at the services throughout the city, such as the Department of Public Works, such as the recreation. They made a lot of improvements downtown, a few parks opening. They have the new library and community center. And, as luck would have it, the residents of North Bergen felt like that they were really happy with what they have. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. My colleague, Mark Bucinich, he was able to speak with Mayor Sacco just moments after the results were announced right outside of the mayor's office. So let's take a look at that.
Are you happy with the results?
Oh, ecstatic with the results. I want to do better than last time. We did 5 percentage points better than last time. So I was really happy with it.
Just preliminary numbers-wise, do you know what they are at this point?
Sure. There's somewhere, I got it right up on the wall here, 83-12 without the absentees, which is another 470. So we have about 8,800 votes. And, I'm happy with it,
Is this election victory any more special than, say, the previous ones?
They're all special. This is very special because we worked hard for 4 years to improve the town, and this showed that the people in the town appreciated all the hard work that was done. I thank the people of the town for my re-election.
And what do you think, was it any particular message or messages that you think really resonate with the township again?
Moving our community forward. I think people see the improvements taking place. Even though some are still on paper, they know it's happening. There's a lot of faith that the new schools are going to be in, the new parks are going to be in, the new rec center, and the library are going in, all our parks being repaired. They all see this happening. And this is, I think, what the message is that people responded to.
Mayor, my last question. So this is the third time now where you beat your main nemesis, Larry Weinstein. Any departing words for the challenger?
No, nothing at all. The election is what it is, and it's over now.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office space and an address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation. On-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. 201-521-9000 or visit on the web at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hello, Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis. As promised, we're joined with Jersey City Board of Education President Sudhan Thomas. Sudhan, thanks for dropping in.
John, thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight, this afternoon.
Very good. So Sudhan, obviously there's no shortage of things to talk about at the Board of Ed. I mean, there usually isn't, but obviously you have had your hands full, to put it mildly.
Yes.
But Monday was a big night. It was a long night.
Yes.
You guys approved that $683 million budget. Obviously, there was a lot of teachers there, a lot of parents that were concerned about the future of this district. People were going in expecting hundreds of layoffs, something to the tune of 415. But you guys came up with a plan at the 11th hour that you're thinking will stave off a lot of those plans. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, well, obviously there were a lot of angry folks, and rightly so, because like I've always maintained, the state has abandoned Jersey City, and they have walked away from their constitutional obligations and their moral imperative to service this district and to fully fund Jersey City's 33,000 children. Now, regardless of who abandons us or not, the Board of Education, elected by the people, the citizens of Jersey City, we have a fiduciary and a constitutional obligation to do right by these kids. And so we hunkered down and we worked hard, and we worked closely with the city, and we worked closely, drew from resources from within, and we made some progress. But again, like I said that night, we have to see this budget in the continuum of the next 3 years. It's not a standalone financial event, and this is a continuum of the last several years of underfunding. And we've made some good progress, but we have a long way to go.
So 120 million, obviously when you guys saw that, I'm sure, let's just say you weren't thrilled. So could you just explain to the people how it got to this point? In short, just, I think a lot of people, when they heard that number, were shocked, as I'm sure you probably were too.
Well, I was not shocked about the 120 million, but the 27 million that occupied, or the 33 million that occupied that 120 million, that was a shock. I know a couple of folks came and were critical of the board that night, saying you guys had a whole year to plan for this. It's actually not true. When the state passed the draconian S2 last year, which underfunded Jersey City by another 180 million, they were supposed to cut $13 million this year. But instead, they cut us with $27 million, and they dinged us with another $6.5 million on top of that because of enrollment uptick in the charter schools. So we had to solve for an additional $20 million, and that's what put the strain on the system. The deficit itself is a carry forward from last year and the year before. If you remember 2017, I voted against the budget. We had a deficit of $30 million. Last year, that deficit grew to $70 million. And this year, that deficit grew by another $20 million. Now, we were expecting a $13 million cut. Instead, we received a $27 million cut, and on top of that, $6 million. So those put our plans into disarray. And so we had to really hunker down and dig deep to come up with solutions. Because for us, it's a two-point responsibility. We have to ensure thorough and efficient education for 33,000 children. But also, John, one has to remember, and this has to always run through our thought process, the Jersey City Board of Education is also the largest employer in the city of Jersey City. We have more jobs than the municipality, which means we are directly impacting the households of 6,000 citizens. At least the majority of them are Jersey City residents.
Well, yeah, on that point, I think people, like I said, want to hear a little bit about the plan that you came up with at the meeting. Not everyone was able to attend. Not everybody's going to watch the 6 hours of footage.
Sure.
So they just want to hear a little bit about what the plan is and how this will be beneficial to the district.
See, there were 3 things working in our favor this year, which we didn't have last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the payroll tax fix was one of the big pieces of the puzzle that we didn't have last year. And we worked very closely with the mayor's office and the business administrator in the city to ensure that we were able to harness, as much as they could collect and project for the whole year.
And what's the final figure
The
there?
final figure that they are able to comfortably project, and again, I want to urge caution, this doesn't mean that the dollars is in the city right now.
Right.
But what they're able to comfortably project based on what they've collected so far is $27 million, which equals the adjustment date cut, the adjustment date cut for this year. That was the first. Yeah, that's
convenient in theory.
Yeah, but we didn't have that last year. So that's one of the things working in our favor. The second thing is, historically, we've been capped by a 2% increase in property tax. Chris Christie in 2009 signed into law and brought down our ability to increase taxes from 4% to 2%. So in the last 10 years, we could only increase the school tax levy by 2%. This year, we didn't have the 2% window anymore. We could go as high as we wanted. So we went 5 times our traditional levels. We went up and increased the school tax levy by 10%, That gave us $12 million. So that was another component, a tool that we didn't have last year. And last year, John, if you remember, the third piece is when we hit the $70 million deficit mark, we said, hey, we have to start looking at these budgets more in continuum of the future. So we started working on a lot of aspects. For example, the board, we passed 30 resolutions last year around the budget to fortify ourselves financially. And one of them was to see how we can optimize our assets. So we are in the process, we have 3 leases where we're leasing space from other entities. We're in the process of getting rid of them. And then we're also looking at our own assets and seeing, are we fully utilizing it? Is there a way to monetize some of our assets? And one of the things that was on the table was the central office building. And so the board resolved in a rare, extraordinary circumstance situation, but not a distress situation, because if we do this as a distress situation, we won't be able to monetize it fully. So the board agreed that we will start the process for either a ground lease or a sale of this building with a minimum, to be very clear, with a minimum of $6 million to impact this year's budget, with a total proceeds target possibly about $50 million. That would be a factor of the appraisal process, but we will comfortably bring in $6 million this year, which will help us save about 150 jobs.
So obviously the original projection was about 415, so you're telling me now that it would be more to the tune of like 285?
Well, the original projection was actually 750 jobs. There were 450 instruction jobs, 200 non-instruction jobs, and about 150.
Right, that was the first reading.
Yeah, that was the first reading. So between the $27 million that the city was able to project comfortably and the $6 million that we're able to get in through the ground lease or sale of central office building, we think we're able to cover about potentially $33 million of the $50 million staffing actions that we planned. So that really leaves us with about $15 million in staffing actions that we still have to deal with. So if you look at it at $75,000 per year per employee resource, then we're looking at about 180 to 200. But because of the fact that we were able to solve for $33 million of our planned staff reductions, that brings down our unemployment funding cost allocations, because we are self-funded on unemployment. So some of that will factor into that remaining 17 million. We might be able to escape with about 150 or so. And again, that is a factor of the administration, because the administration under the leadership of Franklin Walker has taken some giant strides in making the district more efficient. So it's really an administrative call in terms of, is there redundancy? Is there staff that we don't need? Look at the ratios, look at the demands, and they are in the process of cleaning things up right now. But I think in a way, it's safe to say that between the city coming in with $27 million and the board uniting around this last minute effort that we put up on the table, which was a 5-4 vote even for the building sale or ground lease, I think we've been able to kind of deal with the problem to an extent.
Look, I mean, obviously nobody wants to see any layoffs in an ideal
Absolutely.
world, right?
Yes.
But in this situation, you started off with 700 to come down to 150. It's obviously progress.
Yes.
But
yes.
Let's see what happens. Obviously, it's all fluid and it's day to day, week to week, month to month.
Sure.
So now the budget has to be approved by the county superintendent,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And then but that's it then, right?
Yes, that's it. And the final appropriations is the state has to adopt the budget end of June. They could still deliver something for us, and we are hoping that they'll deliver something for us which will ease the pain. But at this point, from our side, we're done. From the county side, it's done. Now the final adoption of the entire state budget, which is a function of the legislature, towards the end of June, and the governor signs. Maybe there's a last-minute surprise, positive surprise for us, which we hope it won't be another shock. So because in the last 2 years, they hit us with $8.3 million after we passed the budget. So hopefully there's no shock. But if there's a surprise, positive surprise, we look forward to that.
Well, we all like positive surprises.
Yeah.
Not very common in Hudson County.
Yeah.
But with that said, now there were some people at the meeting that I heard talking about you guys erred in the sense that you should have approved a higher tax levy because that would have saved even more jobs, and they felt like you were shortchanging the district by keeping the tax, around that 2%. So what's your reaction to those criticisms?
See, from the very beginning, our message has been very consistent. We are leading from the front, and we are pursuing a all-encompassing approach to resolve this funding crisis. There is no one-trick pony approach to this thing, and some of the folks are very vocal about advocating that we should resolve this through increasing taxes. And we just don't agree with that approach. We have to look through, making our operations more efficient. We have to look to see what waste we have and identify and cut them. We have to legislatively advocate. We have a great relationship with the city. We've been working with the state. I've testified in every Senate and Finance Committee and Assembly Committee. We have mounted a legal challenge, and we have increased tax. Now remember, the reval didn't do much for the city. All it did was balance out the gains with the positives. We have a lot of homeowners out there, middle-class homeowners, senior citizens. We have to be mindful of what a tax increase would have on them. And 12 million, historically, we can only increase by 2 million. We did close to 12 million. That's 5 times more. We are comfortable with that number.
And real quick, Sudhan, unfortunately, we're basically out of time, but any update on the lawsuit yet?
I think we have a schedule now. I think the court hearing is July 16th, if I'm right. I just got to know about it when I was driving here. So we'll see where that happens, you know. And again, we are not putting all our chips in that. It's one of the many approaches we have towards resolving this funding situation. But just want to show your viewers that the board is in control of the situation, and we will continue to lead from the front.
Sudhan, thank you so much. Thank you,
John.
everybody, for sticking in there. We are going to take another break. We'll see you in a few seconds.
Introducing the MyJCMC app, powered by Practice Unite. The free MyJCMC app puts the power of healthcare at your fingertips. Go to the concierge for access to referrals, scheduling, and appointments. See emergency room wait times and get directions to Jersey City Medical Center health locations. Read the latest JCMC news through their social media feed. Find a doctor and more. The MyJCMC app. We belong to you.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
Hey, we're back again. Remember, Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis, and once again with my colleague Mark Bucinich. Mark, always good to have you.
John, always great to join you in the in-studio live on TV. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course. So, Mark, just you were obviously the one that had to endure the 6+ hour meeting, so God bless you, number one.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Number two.
And my legs as well, yes.
So anything that you wanted to just throw out there that Sudhan may have missed?
Well, you know, just I think he highlighted all the main points, but I mean, there must have been at least 300 people in that audience. And again, it was teacher after teacher, parent after parent pleading with the board, saying why they didn't see this writing on the wall. But as you just heard Sudhan say, and which he expressed at the board meeting on Monday night, that you had to put this in historical perspective, basically that the underfunding crisis that Jersey City is currently undergoing dates back all the way to the Christie administration.
All right. So, Mark, obviously, there was some breaking news before we were able to sit down today. You saw that Mayor Ravi Bala actually announced that he'll be running council candidates in 5 of the 6 wards this November. I believe that's November 5th. So just a quick rundown for those that may not have had a chance to see it. Again, this was only around 11 a.m. In the first ward, he's going to be running Migdalia Pagan Milano. She says is a lifelong resident that works at City Hall. Also, Nora De Benedetto will be running. In the second ward, we have Lisa Spregel in the 4th, Attorney Phil Cohen in the 5th, who's also the chair of the Hoboken Deb Committee, and Kristen Coco Powell running in the 6th. Mark, obviously we're running a little short, but I mean, any thoughts on these picks?
Well, I'm surprised that Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala would want a challenger against his main adversary, Michael DeFusco.
Yes, it's really shocking. I thought they were going to shake hands and sing Kumbaya, but I guess no such luck.
And who's the candidate or the person that Ravi Bala is hoping to run against him again?
That's Migdalia Pagan Milano. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. We may be at a special time. We'll keep you posted.
Thanks again, John.